Carl Fredricksen is a timid and innocent little boy who is greatly inspired by a famous explorer and adventurer, Charles Muntz. Muntz explores the monster of Paradise Falls, but later on, the scientists reveal that the skeleton is fabricated. Muntz loses his membership and faces humiliation. He promises to return to Paradise Falls to capture the beast alive. Carl meets Ellie, who is an outgoing, lively kid with an adventurous spirit. She also draws significant inspiration from Charles Muntz. She gives Carl her club badge. One night, Ellie gets Carl his balloon, which he lost a day before. She introduces him to her adventure book. She excitedly tells Carl about Muntz, declaring that she will follow in his footsteps, shows him the destination she dreams of and the adventures she hopes to have. But she doesn't know how to go to Paradise Falls. Carl started liking her. Years later, they marry in a simple, intimate ceremony and build their home together, furnishing it with care and beauty. The two of them enjoy a joyful and contented life together. Ellie gets pregnant, but soon she loses her baby in a miscarriage and finds out she can never have a child of her own. Seeing her brokenhearted, Carl reminds her of her adventure book, and they both start saving money for Paradise Falls. Years passed away. Carl and Ellie grow old together, living a happy life until Ellie falls ill and passes away, leaving Carl feeling lonely and heartbroken without her. Afterward, Carl stays in the home by himself, unwilling to sell it as buildings started going up in the area. One day, a kid named Russell knocks at his door. Russell introduces himself as a wilderness explorer and asks Carl if he needs any help so he can earn his assisting the elderly badge to become a senior wilderness explorer. Just to get rid of Russell, Carl tells him about a bird snipe and offers him to catch it for him. Carl accidentally hits a worker who damaged his mailbox, and the court declares him a public menace, requiring him to move to Shady Oaks Retirement Village. While packing his luggage, Carl sees Ellie's adventure book and promises something to himself. When the staff arrive to pick him up, Carl asks for a moment to say goodbye to his house. After a while, thousands of balloons burst out of the roof, lifting the home into the sky. Carl smiles and tells them he will send a postcard from Paradise Falls. The house flies over the city, higher and higher. Carl Fredricksen relaxes happily in his flying house until he hears a knock at the door. When he opens it, he's surprised to find Russell. Russell explains he found his snipe and asks to come inside. Once in, he notices all of Carl's belongings and realizes Carl is heading to Paradise Falls. Russell chatters nonstop and annoys Carl, who eventually turns off his hearing aid. Russell then warns him about an approaching storm. The storm shakes the house violently, but Carl manages to save Ellie's photo from falling. Later, Russell wakes him and proudly says he steered the house. When Carl asks where they are, Russell checks his Wilderness Explorer GPS before losing it and says they've reached South America. After trying to climb down, Carl tells Russell it will take hours, but the house bumps into something and they realize they've landed in a strange area. Once the view clears, Carl discovers they are actually at Paradise Falls. Failing to pull the floating house to the cliff, the two begin walking toward the falls. In the jungle, Russell complains he's tired and asks for a bathroom break. Afterward, he notices strange footprints, assumes they belong to a snipe, follows them, and encounters a giant bird. Excited, he tells Carl he found the snipe. Carl panics and tries to keep him away, but Russell plays happily with the bird. Annoyed, Carl refuses to keep it. As they continue walking, they suddenly hear a man's voice, only to realize it's just a rock echoing. Soon, Russell meets a dog named Doug and excitedly asks him to speak. To Carl's shock, the dog actually talks, its voice coming from a special collar. In the jungle, they discover other dogs wearing similar collars. One of them, Alpha, contacts Doug and asks if he has found the bird. Doug proudly says yes, and Alpha sees Russell and the bird through his camera. Growing irritated, Carl manages to distract the dogs long enough for them to escape into the jungle during a rainy night. That night, after struggling to set up a tent, Russell begs Carl not to let the bird be captured. Carl, feeling guilty and missing Ellie, stays quiet. The next morning, they realize the bird is calling out to her babies across Paradise Falls. Russell insists her babies need her, but Carl refuses to help and tries to send the bird away. Later, the dogs ambush them again. Alpha demands the bird, and Doug nervously says he will bring it tomorrow. Alpha then leads Carl and Russell to his master, who turns out to be Charles Muntz. Carl is thrilled to finally meet him. Muntz welcomes them as guests and proudly shows his collection of skeletons from past adventures. During dinner, Carl explains that Muntz inspired him to come to Paradise Falls. Muntz says he will regain his fame once he brings back the creature he's been hunting. When Russell notices a skeleton resembling the bird, he mentions it looks like his pet bird, and Muntz is stunned. Russell adds that she liked chocolate, but Carl nervously insists the bird is gone. Muntz grows suspicious that Carl is hiding something. As Carl is about to leave, Muntz hints that they still have much to discuss. Just then, Kevin's voice is heard outside. Muntz spots the bird and orders his dogs to capture her. Carl, Russell, and Kevin run for their lives, and the bird helps them escape. They manage to get away, but Kevin is injured. Russell bandages her, and when Kevin cries for her babies, Russell begs Carl to take her home. Carl finally agrees. As they approach Kevin's nest, Muntz suddenly appears and captures her. Carl cuts the ropes holding his house, but Muntz sets it on fire. Muntz takes Kevin with him. Upset, Russell accuses Carl of giving her away. Carl angrily replies that he's going to Paradise Falls alone. Russell throws down his badges, saying he doesn't want them anymore. Inside the house, Carl finds Ellie's adventure book, sees new pages she left for him, and realizes Ellie wanted him to have another adventure. He decides to rescue Kevin, but Russell has already taken off on his own. Carl prepares and soon follows him. Russell reaches Muntz's airship but gets caught. When Muntz questions him about Carl, he spots Carl arriving outside the window. Carl rescues Russell as he slides off the ship and tells him to stay safe while he searches for Kevin. Carl gets aboard, distracts the dogs with a ball, and frees Kevin. Realizing something is wrong, Muntz sends his pilots to attack Carl's floating house. Carl and Muntz confront each other, but the plane begins to lose balance. Carl climbs the ship with Kevin, while Doug defeats Alpha, causing Alpha's collar to break and all the dogs to laugh. Doug becomes their new leader. Russell climbs up the ropes and helps defeat the pilots. Carl, Russell, Kevin, and Doug reach the top of the airship just as they try to board Carl's house. Muntz shoots the balloons, causing the house to fall. Carl chases it and stops it from sliding off, but Muntz breaks in, still after Kevin. Carl tells Russell to get out. As they escape, a window shatters and Muntz falls from the house. Carl is relieved to see Russell, Kevin, and Doug safe, though saddened to watch his house drift away. Russell apologizes, but Carl tells him it's just a house. Their spirits lift when they reunite Kevin with her babies. After saying goodbye to Kevin, Carl and Russell fly off in the spirit of adventure. Later, Russell receives his Senior Wilderness Explorer badge, and Carl stands proudly beside him as an honorary elder. After the ceremony, Carl gives Russell Ellie's badge, the one she gave him long ago for assisting the elderly and going above and beyond. They celebrate afterward by sharing ice cream together.